Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and we have assembled here once again, and tonight we are talking about Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. And we are going to jump straight into the game. Let's go to Alex and Susan first for their opening thoughts on this movie.
Well, I found it exciting and thrilling and super cool. I thought that the VR was excellently rendered, and I thought that the story of people living in mobile homes, sort of one on top of the other in Ohio, could happen. Flying cars could happen. They're talking about doing that right now in Japan with those cars that go over 200 miles an hour. And then there was that family that he was part of that really were a bit rough around the edges. That could happen. So I'm just saying that pretty much everything in this movie, except for one company trying to take over another company by playing a video game, I thought that was pretty far out because, you know, if you can hack something today and steal somebody's identity, then a big industrial company could have hacked the other thing much easier. But that was my opinion. That's my opening thoughts. And I like the Iron Giant. Here you go, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to think of this movie. I like Steven Spielberg, but I think that other movies have done it better. Tron, Blade Runner, other movies have done it better. Tron, yeah, but they also have a virtual world, and it makes a little bit more sense than this movie. Plus, even though I love pop culture references and making fun of things and 5,000 impressions, I know that didn't apply here, but it just was a little too jumbled. Now, in terms of, the way that apartments are, that depends on the area, that depends on the country. I don't know if they would actually have that here. I know they wouldn't have that here in this state where I live. But India, Japan, China, there's billions of people, so you do have to have that sort of construct. In terms of constantly playing a game or constantly playing a virtual game, yeah, I was taught at a very early age you're not supposed to overdo anything. So I can't quite agree with what they're presenting in terms of the pop culture references. Freddy versus Jason or Knight Rider or an A-Team van. That's cute, but I'd rather be watching Blade Runner or Tron. It's not a bad movie, but I think it might be giving itself a little too much credit.
From the sofa of love to the beautiful streets of Swansea, it's Stephen Price.
Don't live in Swansea. Thank you very much. I thought this film was amazing. The effects in it was absolutely stunning. It's the best film I've seen in so many years now, because there's been so many bad movies out. And one is Jurassic World and the other one after it.
Yeah, and you watched both?
I watched both, yeah. Yes. I suffered then. 4 hours of my life taken away. This was just stunning. That's all I got to say. That's my opening thoughts, and I'll tell you my favourite scenes later.
Well, if I come to you, might not bother. Let's go to Beef Dad.
When I heard we were reviewing this, I was a little bit worried. I'd never seen it. And I thought to myself, oh God, a virtual world. If it's anything like Tron, I should just open a vein. Because Tron, I'm afraid, is just...
Tron sucks.
yeah, Tron isn't good enough to even do that. This is basically, yeah, you've got a pretty crappy, harsh world that people are living in. And so to escape that world, they go into a virtual world where they can be anyone, do anything, be anything, come to that. And the world is called OASIS. Yeah, it reminds me very much of some of the games my partner plays. And yeah, it gets you involved. It's well written, it's well acted, and as I say, it does get you involved. And of course, the young man who is the hero in this, he's trying to find the 3 keys in the virtual world so that he can become the owner of OASIS. If he doesn't find it, then this other company takes over, and OASIS will basically be destroyed. And yeah, it's brilliant. The effects are superb. The effects really are superb. Yeah, I'll go along with you, Susan. I like the Iron Giant as well. I think she's brilliant. And yeah, there's just so many magic moments in this.
Oh, I'm really pleased you liked it. I didn't think you would, actually. Let's go to Lee, since we have to.
This film is awesome. What you have to realise is Steven Spielberg is still on top of his game after 40 odd years of making movies, and he's still doing it now. And this is, I mean, I've never seen this before. I sat down this week and watched this. Wow, I was blown away. I just totally don't agree with what Alex said. That's just my opinion. It doesn't matter where in the world, what country you are, you can have those shanty towns. This is set in the future. It's set 20 years or so in the future. This is science fiction. But we are going down that route because virtual reality in gaming is here and now. And it's just, as Beef said, it grabs you and pulls you in. This is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of the 21st century. The main character is after the keys to get the egg to control this business. Charlie Bucket did it, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's a wonderful story, and the icon, the pop icons in this movie, blink and you miss them. Blink, you miss the TARDIS. Blink, you miss Freddy Krueger. Blink, you miss Batman. Blink, you miss this. Blink, you miss that. It's just full of, these pop cultures, just, straight on the screen all the time, brilliantly. And I do love the Iron Giant as well. I think that's brilliant. Animation, brilliant. And I love the way it crosses from animation back to the real world, back to the virtual reality world. It's just, and the acting in it is brilliant. I mean,
okay,
I don't know
Lee,
many of the.
Where was the TARDIS?
The TARDIS is in the film. It's under a stairwell.
Oh.
It's just a fleeting glimpse. You see, it's there. It's just like everything else in the film. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about the actors in this movie. I mean, I know Mark Rylance, a brilliant British actor. He's been in loads and loads of stuff. Oscar winner. Playing Halliday, he was just awesome. I'm not a big fan of Simon Pegg, but in this, he wasn't in it much, so it didn't really affect my enjoyment of the movie. Yeah,
you got that girl from Bates Motel, haven't you?
Yeah. It's from beginning to end. It's a fun movie, and this is what could be in 20 years or so. we could be living like that in 20 years, so years time, because technology is moving that way. And this is a big thumbs up to Steven Spielberg. I've loved every, I would say 90% of Steven Spielberg output I have absolutely loved. So this one is up there. So an enjoyable movie. Over to you, Harry.
And I can tell you for a fact, dear viewer, that it's not often that Lee Wilson is blown away. It really isn't. But I did say you should see it. I did say it's an amazing film because my brother went to see it and his friends, and I said, should I see it? Because the trailers didn't do anything for me. I just thought it just looked a bit of a mess, the trailers. And my brother said, you got to go and see it. You got to go and see it. So I sat down in the cinema. When it started, I was a bit like, I'm not sure I'm going to get into this, because at first I think the CGI is too much. But as the film goes on, it goes more into real world, and they're outside of the OASIS a lot of the times. But the way it just flips back and forth is just genius. And I'm total in agreement with Lee that it is the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Definitely. And I can tell you this now, this is going to get pretty deep now. But in the future, the human race, because everybody wants to live forever, don't they? Come on, no one wants to die, do they? Really? Nobody wants to die. I think in the future, to escape death...
Freddie Mercury already said that.
To escape death, we are going to live forever in a virtual reality world. We are going to live in a virtual reality world. That's what I think. And to think if you've got a disability or anything, and you can go into one of these games, you can do whatever you want.
So you're saying we can live forever as an avatar?
Yes, I think we will. Yes.
We do that now anyway.
I think we're going. I definitely think that, not us personally, not you. No, thank God. No, but I definitely think the human race at some point will live in a virtual reality world, and we're heading that way now. I mean, I went into a game in Cardiff, and you could see around all these VR headsets.
Well, I mean,
VR headsets.
I mean, there's already been other like there were TV miniseries called Wild Palms, and there was a movie with Bruce Willis called Surrogates that was actually filmed in Massachusetts, where he actually had an android that did part of his work day because he was a cop. So if he didn't feel good or he had something else to do, he actually sent the android cop to do, his job.
But I think because actually this was a book first, and I'm glad that Steven Spielberg brought this as a film because he's such a brilliant director, and I think he was the best choice to do this type of film. And he adds that special type of Spielberg magic. And I feel like over the recent years, Steven Spielberg hasn't been so good. He's lost that touch recently. But I feel with this, he's got it back. I think this is definitely an instant classic. I think this is a classic. I think this is a film that you'll remember like you do Back to the Future. This is basically the new Back to the Future for now, for modern day. I mean, we will see the year this is set in. And Lee is definitely right. We will live in shanty-style places. We will live, caravans on top of each other. Because as a human race, there's more and more of us. And the planet is getting smaller because of climate change. We are losing the places that we can live on this planet. So we're all going to be more and more crammed into smaller spaces. And that's one of the reasons why VR is happening, because they need to find solutions to all the world's problems. And VR is a solution to all the world's problems in a way, but they just have to it's going to take a long time, but I think this will definitely happen. This is what they're building to.
And
anyway.
But what you've got to realise, this is only set 20 to 25 years in the future from now.
Oh yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see when this film, like Back to the Future was in 2015, the second one, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we get the DeLorean. We get the DeLorean in this movie as well.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to favourite moments. Yeah, we can talk about that in fact. We might as well go to favourite moments now. Lee, you might as well give yours.
Oh, cheers! Thanks for that. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't hold my mic on purpose. There's so many. I just love all the pop icon references in it. It's
well, you got Chucky, you've got The Shining.
Now, The Shining, that is just. I mean, that scene, the scenes which, I mean, I know Steven Spielberg was a very good friend of Stanley Kubrick. And I know it's said in the movie that Stephen King hated the movie. Yes, that's true. It's a classic movie, The Shining. So you've watched this now, Ali. You've watched a part of a horror movie. And you know,
it's horrifying, I know. You know the Gremlins are in it. The Gremlins are in this film as well. Did you see them?
Yeah, but the scenes in the Shining Hotel, just so brilliantly done. The only thing my niggle with that bit is they could have had a bit of Jack Nicholson in there with the axe. I mean, they had the axe, they had the axes. They could have had Jack Nicholson coming through the door saying, "Here's Johnny."
Yeah, but you can only go so far, can't you? Really?
Paulie couldn't afford him.
Yeah, but they could have used a clip from the movie.
Yeah, but wait there, Lee. Wait there. There is a sequel coming out. Steven Spielberg is working on a sequel.
There is a sequel, but he's found the egg. What else can there be?
Well, it's made a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
The question I asked Alan the other night was, if Halliday...
You can't share that information. That's private, mate.
Now, if Halliday was dead, if Halliday wasn't an avatar and he was dead, who was Halliday?
Yeah, they probably couldn't afford Scatman Carruthers or Shelley Duvall or Jack Nicholson. Reading this on the internet, of course, I think there's around 130 to 220, pop culture references.
Yeah, no, there's loads
listed. Yeah,
there's tons. Yeah, you have to watch the movie several times to spot all of them. Really, you can look online, obviously, and see all the references if you want. Let's go to Stephen Price for favourite moments.
Favourite moments.
Thank you for that, Stephen. Let's go to Beef Dad.
Favourite moments is the Saturday Night Fever one. I loved that. Brilliant that was.
Was he dancing away?
No.
Yeah.
The Shining was just totally brilliant. Absolutely amazing that was. Like Lee said, he could have had that part of Jack. You've seen the axe coming through the door. Could have had him saying, "Here's Johnny." And I'd recommend you watch that film, Alid, The Shining.
It's valid. It's not that horrific, that movie. It's just
it's not blood and guts and all that.
It's just very suspenseful. You'd like it.
Yeah, so there's no blood in it at all, like when the lift's open. No, exactly. Beef Dad, favourite moments.
I love the moment with the Iron Giant in the final battle. That was just absolutely brilliant. And earlier on, the point where Sorrento, who is the nasty, arranged for where Percival, the young hero, he was living with his aunt, played by Claire Higgins, who we all know from Doctor Who. The moment where they destroyed the living quarters, that was pretty incredibly done. What?
Claire Higgins didn't play his aunt.
What was it she played? Yeah.
She played the neighbour.
Mrs. Gilmore. Ah, yeah, that's right. Yes, sorry, the neighbour. Yeah. What else? The bit where everybody, where they're all fighting the Sorrento people in the virtual reality, and you walk down the street and there's people fighting on the streets. It was just incredible. That amused me no end. And yet the moment in the Stephen King bit where he walked out of the door, turned the corner, looked, and I said, "It's got to be the girls," and it was the twins, and it was brilliantly reconstructed. That absolutely brilliantly reconstructed.
Yep. Well, Beef Dad took one of my favourite moments, but never mind. I'm not going to hold it again. I'm not going to hold a grudge. Let's go to Susan and Alex.
All right. Favorite moments. I liked the part in the van where he's restrained, kind of, sort of, but he's bouncing around and he's trying to do the key all gently and delicately with his fingers, but you know, the van's going every which way, and that was hilarious. And that was very much like Steven Spielberg-esque with like the whole. It was an Indiana Jones type stunt, and so that was fun. And the other part that I really enjoyed, where he's in the library talking to the guy, the curator, and I just thought, you know, all these other yopes, they're all like, and the big company people, they're all like out doing their thing, you know, getting the coins, doing the thing. Here's this one fairly clever kid in the library doing research. That was brilliant to me, and that's what it takes to get it to get ahead. You know, you do your research and you go into this thing and you're prepared in advance, or even just getting prepared as you go, but really doing the intellectual work. It keeps your intellectual integrity high, and that's what we need. We need people with intellectual integrity to run the OASIS. Anyway, if there was such a thing. And MMORPGs are phenomenal. I just can't even believe what, like, the Halo world and all those other worlds that are going on all the time. I mean, big, elegant places to play. And it's just too bad I suck at video games. Otherwise, I'd know something about these things more than just like, oh, I watched my friend play like 5 minutes 20 years ago or whatever. Anyway, here you go, Alex.
Yeah, like I said, this is probably well produced, but other South Park did many stories where they combined, Luke Skywalker, Wonder Woman, all that. There's other places that have other TV shows, other movies that have done it. I play a little bit of video games. I don't know if I want to go into the virtual world. However, That also can get a little complicated. I've played The Sims. I've played the Lord of the Rings video game. There was another game that I got that was called BioShock, and you're walking through a beautiful garden, and the water looks very realistic, and the flowers look very realistic, and I don't know. I like them, but yeah, I like them, but at the same point, I think I still love the Pac-Man, and there was a tribute to Pac-Man in this, I'm sure, and I still like the Space Invaders. I like the Sonic. I don't know. I don't think I'm on board really with this virtual world type of stuff yet. And plus, I mean, there may be some good purposes, like if you're disabled or other issues like that. But it just no. I'm not. I'm not really for it, and I question if playing it all day or playing it several days, is right. I'm not sure. I know at the end of the movie they said, "Oh, we closed it on Tuesdays and Thursdays," but the other thing too is, what about if that were the only days that people could play? But yeah, I'm right, but I'm not. I do like the internet and all that, but I think that there's still a lot of things that have to be worked out, and the policing when people troll you and all that hasn't really been enforced.
Alex. What was your favorite moment?
I do. I have favorite moments. I love the dance club sequence. I love how the floor, just like the movie, the floor light up in Saturday Night Fever. And so it's not that it doesn't look good. It looks wonderful. But, and there's other ones that I like. What was the other thing? Where they were making fun. What if this girlfriend turns out to be a guy? That I said, thank you. Put some more reality in this movie. It just. So I do have favorite moments, but I think I like the other items, the other movies, the other TV shows that I mentioned.
Thank you, Alex. What's the matter, Lee? We're just testing the wind.
No. I'll just say what Alex mentioned just then about he loves the old games, basically about that. This how I take this movie in. The final challenge comes down to playing an old-fashioned arcade game.
Yep. Was it Adventure? Adventure.
I think it was marvelous the way it was. Everything else was high-tech, virtual reality, blah blah blah. It comes down to the final challenge. You got to play an old arcade game.
Wasn't that the first RPG or whatever it was? That was the first of its type, wasn't it? That game.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the first game of its type. Yeah. RPG or whatever you call them. Yeah, no, for me, favourite moments, basically the whole film. I mean, from beginning to end, it's just an enjoyable ride. But I do love every scene with the Iron Giant, because the Iron Giant, if you've ever seen that animated film, that's a brilliant animated film. Nobody's mentioned Mega Godzilla or Mecha Godzilla. Brilliant. Love that bit when Mecha Godzilla appears at the end and fighting. I just love the whole battle at the end, where it goes from the virtual reality world where they're being wiped out, and you can see them being wiped out in the real world and fighting with each other, and the system's going off. It is just so well done. It's so fast paced. Yep.
And nobody's mentioned the awesome, because I'm still living in that decade, 80s soundtrack.
Yeah, no, the 80s soundtrack was very good. Yeah. No,
Van
Halen jump. Wow.
Yeah, no, I love all the movie references, even from movies I haven't seen. I still like seeing movie references. The DeLorean was used a lot in this film, which is really good. Were there any Daleks in this film? I don't think there were there? No. They tend to be in everything else. They've been in the Lego films, and they've been in Looney Tunes or whatever it was called, but not in this. So that was a bit odd. I wonder why they weren't in this. Yeah, there's just so many favourite moments. So we might as well go to final say and score. Let's go to Beef Dad.
Right, Lee jumped in on what my part of my final say was, which was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was brilliant. One of the things that the first song you hear is Jump by Van Halen, which was always one of my favourites back in the day. And that immediately grabbed me. And they actually used the main theme from King Kong, the original 1933 King Kong.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that's one of my favourite moments at the beginning with King Kong.
Yeah, it's brilliant. He doesn't just turn up once; he turns up a couple of times, which is great. But yeah, it's great fun. As I say, gets you involved. It's long. I think it's 2 hours long, this film, but it moves so quickly that you don't get bored. And if a film can do that, it's a 10.
Well, you've been grabbed a lot during this film, Beef Dad. Let's say no more. Those eyebrows are selling the story for us. Let's go to Stephen Price for final say and score. Was you grabbed a lot too, Stephen?
Totally brilliant, awesome movie. We'll watch it again, definitely. Favorite moments, gotta be the King Kong, where the way he came off the Empire State Building. That was just amazing. That was.
Yeah, it was brilliant recreating that scene. Yeah.
And the way he grabbed the motorcycle as well was totally brilliant. And the Saturday Night Fever one, Godzilla, and The Shining just blew me away. It gets a solid 10 out of 10.
Wow. Naxi, dear viewer, this is the first time Stephen's watched one of our films in full.
Yeah, cheeky get.
Let's go to Alex and Susan. Alex, remember, it's just a film. We're not asking you to review VR. We're at just the film. Just a film.
Go ahead, Susan.
We're asking your opinion on VR.
You do your final.
Yeah,
something, but
I don't like this movie. I don't like the world it presents. Can
I just ask you, are you frightened of this world that it represents?
I don't like the idea. I don't like, but that's the ironic part, because I've seen Tron and I've seen South Park do a version of this, but they called it Imagination Land, and I did like Wild Palms, even though people were going insane in that TV miniseries. So yeah, visually it's great. I like some of the references. I like the Saturday Night Fever reference. I just don't like what it's representing. I know that they have the tacked on thing, real life is real. Yeah, hopefully. And that's the only way you can get good food, hopefully. And yes, don't play it 24 hours a day. Yes, I appreciate that message. But I'd rather watch something else. So, and I do like a lot of Spielberg movies, but I like it when I like the Jaws. That's what I like.
Give a score.
Visually, probably a 9. Plot-wise, story-wise, much lower.
What?
All right. Let it go.
Okay.
No, come on. No. What are you going to say the film?
There's only one fault I picked in this movie. Please, let's get rid of romance in the movie. Why is it got to be romance?
Yeah, I have to say that yeah, I do agree with you.
Okay. Let me do my final say. Okay.
Yeah, but what's Alex going to score the film? I want to know the final score.
I said visually is 9, but
no. I want one score. No, I don't want visually. I don't want plot. I don't want whatever music. I want one score, Alex. Give me one score.
7.
Let me put it this way. I probably won't watch this movie again. And like I said, I've already mentioned the other TV shows and the other movies I like better.
Alex, a score. No, 10. 10. He's holding up.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I did not do that. Go ahead.
A 10 from Alex. That's the first time we've ever had a 10 off Alex. That was a 10. He went like that.
Go ahead, Susan. Oh, that was to...
Yeah, 10. Thank you. 10. No. I'm taking that as a 4. You're going to give it a 4?
Go ahead, Susan.
You're going to give it a 4, aren't you?
No, who knows? This is a cool movie, and I enjoyed it. I gotta disagree with all y'all about the romance, because it is the most fundamental human voyage, okay? If you don't have somebody to live for on the outside of a fucking video game, you're never ever gonna
yeah, but he does fall in love with her.
You're never gonna have a real life, because there's nothing to do outside of that.
Yeah, but can I just add, he does fall in love with her very, very easily.
Okay. Sometimes it goes fast.
Okay.
Well, that is true. Yeah, sometimes it does. I agree with you there. Yeah.
The book is different, and the book is more gamer-oriented than the movie is actually.
Have you read the book?
They admitted in the book that he was a little bit more stalkery than in the movie.
Oh. Yeah, I can see why
well,
they didn't know that.
I just think that sometimes romance goes fast, and that's what they capture this as. I disagree with Alan and Steven about romance in movies, because it is the most fundamental human relationship.
Yeah, but you got to remember, me and Steven are Welsh.
Okay. Well, even in the Twilight Zone, they had episodes where they said, have you ever gone outside the pool hall? Have you ever been on a date? So, and that was in the 50s. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Alex, I'm telling you now, we're not ending this cast until we get a score off you.
Give it, just go for it.
Like I said, visually I give it a 9.
No.
I like other ones. I wanted to stop.
So would you give it would you give it a 1? You can give it a 1 if you want. You can give it whatever.
I've already said.
I just go. Alex just went with the 9, so just go with the 9.
Yeah.
9. A 9. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, 9. Yeah.
So go with that. 9. Don't ask him to lower it. I just don't think we're gonna get a straight answer out of him. And because it
must be awful to take to a restaurant. Alex, what would you like on the menu?
What's your score there, Sis?
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. I guess he may be not like the world, the MMORPG world, but
has he been putting you off this film? Has he been putting you off?
Listen, I'm not a video game player, so I would just in this world, in the future, in whatever, I'm screwed, because I won't even enter it. There's no way that I'm going to have any video game profile in any game ever.
Well,
that's kind of where it is. I'm not going to be there.
You two are taking it a bit too
so
seriously.
I'm going to miss out on all the reality and all the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I couldn't go to the Chocolate Factory anymore anyway because I'm diabetic. So basically, I've been let out of this loop of goodness, and so I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Well, that's my other question. How did everybody afford all this internet time to be in this game?
Right.
But,
Yeah, but the internet will probably be free in the future. Could be. It is possible.
yeah, tell that to Comcast.
They'll just make money off you for other ways. Advertising. Finally, let's go to Lee. I'm still coming back for that score, Alex. You're not forgetting.
Yeah,
Am I going to get a score?
I agree with the
before we start.
Yeah, you will do. Yeah, you will do. I'm not going to push your foot around. I agree with the romance thing. I'm sorry, but for me personally, you cannot fall in love with someone's avatar. Avatar is a non-living being. I didn't get that bit. But for me, this is awesome, enjoyable. It didn't drag. It pulled you in. Spielberg on top of his game. This is the brilliant 80s soundtrack. If it's 80s involved in it, it'll get my attention straight away because I'm an old fart and I'm stuck in that decade. And Beef Dad's stuck further back in the 1970s and 60s. 50s. Sorry, I'm no good with my maths. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's got sequel written all over it, I can see, but as I said before, the question of Halliday not being an avatar, but he's dead, very questionable what's going on there. So things have to be answered. But I'm giving it a 10. I just loved it, and I wish there was more pop icon in it because it was just so quick, flash the screen. I wish there was more stuff to see. So to me, I enjoyed every minute of it, even if it was 2.5 hours long. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch, and the time flies by because there is so many references and there's so much going on that your attention is always drawn to something. So to think that this film could have easily been 3 hours, really, and I think you still would have been pretty much entertained if you had long, more pop culture references that Leah said. But I do have to say about the romance thing, like Steven's brought up, they do make a joke about it. They do acknowledge, because it's a film, they have to cram this story into an hour and a half, and there's a lot to cram in already. So they do rush romances in films, but they do make a joke about it. So I can slightly forgive it for that. It's got to be a 10 out of 10. It can't get any less. I mean, what you want a film to do is to entertain you. You want to go to the cinema, you want to sit down, and you want to have a good time. And that's exactly what this did. Exactly. Might not be the most perfect film of all time, and I'm sure if you actually picked it apart, there'll be a few plot holes probably, but there is with every single film. All you want a film to do is to entertain you, and this definitely did. Now back to Alex for his final say and score. What's the matter, Susan?
The thing is I will miss all of you guys, all of you video game players in the future. I know that we've had really lots of fun on these podcasts, but when you disappear into your virtual reality world and you play your video games 24 hours a day, I'm just not going to be with you. It's going to be sad, but just know that I'm somewhere in this world outside doing stuff, outside of the video game matrix.
Well,
and I've loved you, but I will leave you at that point.
Susan, we won't forget you. Sorry, who are you again? Oh, that's it. I don't think we're going to get Alex's score. But don't worry, dear viewer. You may be disappointed by that. But what will cheer you up is that we make videos weekly. So hit that subscribe button and you can see more from us. Thank you to everybody here who's joined me. Thank you to you for watching. Look after yourself. Take care. We will see you in the Oasis.